108 is a very sacred number, and one reason for that is the fact that in Vedic astrology it is believed that the soul of a human perfects itself across 108 steps, which are the 108 nakshatra padas. You fulfill your desires and needs, kama, by gaining artha, material well-being. So kama and artha are the in the center. You can see dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So kama and artha in the center. But on the left side dharma and right side moksha, which are like bulwark ideas which give a boundary and give a direction to life. The rishis also told, based upon their own inner exploration, that there is a simple level of happiness which comes through meeting needs, kama, using artha, and an ultimate level of happiness which one can get by becoming one with God or divine, what you call election, and that they call moksha. If you ask me to give one word for karma, it is programming. I, the pure consciousness, am programmed by my karma to interpret reality through the lens of my karma or my karmic disposition. So my karmic disposition is the filter through which I respond to all the events of my life. Okay, so what I was telling is, that in the modern, situation, we have gone away from those principles, those ideas, which were always there, present, and which are always respected, you know, uh, till even, let's say, 70, 80 years ago, I feel. When I was small, I remember I'm now about 50, 55 actually. So there were some, what we call family values, some, importance given to, relationships. There were brothers and sisters, cousins and, uncles, aunts. They were more close to our lives than, you know, today. And we have drifted far off from each other. We are living in different parts of the globe, different parts of the country. Though we are united with technology, but somewhere, technology has taken up too much of our space and too much of our consciousness, and we are becoming a high tech but a low touch society. The emotional touch, that we are losing out a little bit. I don't know how you perceive, whether you agree with me or not, but this is what I feel personally. And it has become a little bit of a difficulty now, because we have to bring a little bit of touch element also back, that emotional touch, that connectivity between people, not only between cell phones or between uh, networks. So this is my attempt, to take the society again in the right direction, where we don't abandon these principles completely. And technology is a powerful enabler which can enable to share these ideas very quickly among a lot of people. So what I have understood in my life, I feel is a little bit privileged knowledge, which is not accessible to most people because of two things. One is my peculiar nature, and second is God's grace and Amma's grace. So how my peculiar nature is responsible is that I remember from very beginning of my life, extremely curious and observant person. For me, happiness means clarity. For me, happiness means understanding. For me, it is not enough to know that there is a God. I want to know what this God is, how he or she is. Is it a he or a she or a it, or what it is? It is not enough for me to understand there is law of karma, how it functions, why it is like that, why there should be law of karma. It is not enough to tell me that life can evolve through species and it can also evolve through species, where the Hindu belief is. I would like to know how this functions, how someone gets a human body, or if someone is supposed to lose the human body and go to an animal body, what is the criteria to decide? This heaven, hell, or hells. What are these all about? These angels or devas or devatas, or these ghosts or bhutas and pretas and pisachas. What is it all about? What is astrology, Jyotisha? What are these lines on the palm? Why they are there? Do they have some significance? These numbers, synchronicities, because I could notice a lot of synchronicities from childhood. Strange things happening in a very, very strange way, very miraculous way. Some families having a very down to earth hand to mouth existence, but somehow they don't sink. Whenever a function is there or something is there, from somewhere they get some money or some help, as if some divine hand, some invisible hand is helping. So why these things happen? Why these kind of cat crossing your path and that being a bad omen? How come such belief came into being? Or why people are frightened of snakes or fascinated with snakes? I remember my son, when he was very small, one snake just passed near him. He was not aware of snakes at all. He was maybe few months old, maybe 11 months or 12 months old. And he panicked when a snake went near him. So how he panicked? Why he panicked? Why that fear of snake is so deeply embedded in him? So these are like things which you observe, but you want to understand. You want to know the reason behind all these things. So so my explorations, in astrology, in homeopathy, in palmistry, in numerology, in personality theories, in psychology, OB literature, all this management experience, all this life experience has ultimately helped me to reach a place. My meditations also have helped me to reach a place where I feel that I have understood something in a very coherent manner, which is not the part of the normal cultural understanding. And now I want to share it with my students and also with the world at large as much as possible before I pass on and go to some other dimension. I might drop my physical body. So this is the motivation. So from that perspective, so let's revisit. So what I have shared so far is that we are not isolated entities. We humans, each one of us, are integrated and intertwined with the rest of the universe. Everyone that we see around us, in terms of our relatives, wife, husband, children, brothers, sisters, cousins, relatives, friends, colleagues at the workplace, each one of us are drawn to each other, not randomly. My voice is clear now? Okay.
Yes.
So we are not drawn to each other randomly. There are some, principles which govern these interactions. So in modern times, if you want to delve a little bit deeper into this statement which I made, there is a person called Brian Weiss, Bryanwiss, Brian Weiss. He wrote a very famous book, Many Lives, Many Masters. He was a professor at, I think, Yale University, psychology professor, HOD, and he came across, he was also doing clinical counseling. So people used to come and visit him for counseling or treatment, clinical treatment. So, one lady, Catherine, came to him. And this Catherine became a very fascinating case because when he was putting her under hypnosis, which trained psychiatrists who understand how to do that, they use it even today. There are thousands of such psychiatrists who are skilled in hypnotizing and taking people to their early childhood. It's called regression. They regress the person to the early childhood because they believe that in the early childhood memories, there is something which has happened which is causing their current psychological disturbance. So psychologists are trained to delve into the early childhood memories to try and understand this patient more and help this person. So the same thing, this Brian Weiss was doing with Catherine, but this was a different case, unusual case. When he regressed her to early childhood, she jumped to some other lifetimes and started sharing experiences which she was living at that moment vividly, because she is not in her normal consciousness. She is in a very deep trance state where he has put her because of hypnosis, and she starts sharing about many lifetimes, different lifetimes. So altogether they could explore 12 lifetimes of Catherine, and these all 12 lifetimes were relevant to her emotional healing because each life something had happened which is causing her disturbance in this current life. Okay. So very beautiful book, Many Lives, Many Masters. Now this was some data which he was sitting upon for many years because he was fearing that if he publishes this, he will have to quit his job because he is a modern scientist. He is a HOD in a world-class university. He is a world-class researcher. He publishes in HR journals. He has dozens of papers like that. So all his scientific reputation will be put at stake. So he was sitting with this data. And strangely, he started to receive more patients like that. Then maybe by divine synchronicity, he was meant to be the vehicle through which these ideas have to spread in the culture. So that is why it was happening to him. So ultimately, he could hold it no more because his conscience was pricking him. And then he published this very controversial book from scientific perspective, but a bestseller. Many lives, many masters. Okay. And he gave birth to a new subject called past life regression therapy. Now you will be surprised to know that even Bangalore has a few past life regression therapies. Even Mumbai has a few. Even Kochi has a couple. Almost every city across the globe now, major city has a set of past life regression therapies. Now this has come into picture only in the last 30, 40 years. Can you believe this? It's a knowledge which is already there, but it is only available to people who take interest in these things. But now it is time to make these ideas widely popular, because those who want, they can also come across this literature. Then Brian Weiss wrote many books, you know, which you can read and pick and read, and it's very fascinating. And these past life regression therapies are available everywhere. If you want to delve into a little bit that, you can even go and just see out of curiosity, just to test whether such a thing is possible or not. In America itself, I know quite a few people who have gone through such sessions. Okay, so I never went for that because I never, what shall I say? I feel I understand my past. My life direction. It's so clear to me that I understand my past. So there's no point, delving into the past. And for me, each life is a story only. So ultimately, I'm not interested in story. I'm interested more in the wisdom, which is the purpose of living that story. Each lifetime that I have lived was meant to gain some wisdom. So I have no such desire. But in case some of you want to explore, this is a strange thing I've shared, but it is there now. And there are many people who are now writing in this area. Satish, it seems you want to say something. Am I right?
No, no, nothing.
No, nothing. Okay, I felt that you wanted to share something. So I thought whether you have experienced or something like that.
No, nothing in the past life as such. Even I was not interested to dwell into stories of that until and unless I'm done away with the healing part of the past. So yeah.
Yeah, so just shared one idea. So in a way, this research confirms the old idea of reincarnation. That people take birth and then they again take rebirth. This idea is validated by Brian Weiss and his research, and he has thousands of followers all over the world now. And many traditional psychologists have become past life regression therapists. Now, so what has happened is, he has developed a technique by which they can put someone under such a deep hypnosis that one can cross this boundary of this lifetime. Because see, our brain is made in such a way that these things are sealed off from normal access, right? But Brian Weiss perfected a technique by which he can overcome this barrier. Okay. Now this is modern research, psychology research. So like this, in many areas, the research is proliferating. Again, in astrology, if you see, these astrologers used to prescribe crystals. You wear sapphire for Jupiter, or you wear, cat's eye for Ketu, and like that. Different crystals they will tell you to wear, or manik for sun, and moonstone or pearl for moon, or diamond for Venus, like that. So they used to prescribe. Now in modern physics, there are a lot of researches on crystals. So now with scientific knowledge, we now know not only one stone, but multiple stones for each planet. There are different stones for crystals. They have affinity for the light coming from different planets. Now science knows about it. It's no longer a superstition. These astrologers somehow they were able to understand this and were telling us to wear stones. So what is the idea? The idea is that if you are receiving some evil influence or malefic influence from some planet, you can shield the influence by wearing a crystal. The crystal acts like an umbrella. Like, you are in very strong sunshine, you can take an umbrella which protects you to some extent. So like that, these crystals which play that role. Now science knows that there is an association between certain crystals and certain planetary energies. It is no longer a superstition. So crystal science again is a part of science now. It is just that in normal, cultural discourse, we don't talk about these things. Now my point is that if we are living in a universe which is very much alive and vibrant, and many factors influence our consciousness and our life, should we be ignorant of it or should we use it? Should we use this knowledge? Let's say that I noticed in my life at a certain point of time when I was looking for jobs and I was looking for financial security that every Friday, if there is some important work for me, it gets done. Or any work which is stuck gets done on the Friday. And many Fridays it happened. And also, there is a particular color shirt which if I wear, my work is done. So if it is a Friday and if it is an important work, I will put on that shirt and go and get my work done. Initially, I felt it was superstition, because this is giving me positive vibes and stuff. So I stopped it, and then I noticed again, that these things are not happening. And again, I started wearing it, and again after 6 months, again same thing. So there is something there behind the color, behind the day of the week, and behind my life. You see, so these are like synchronicities which are not happening randomly. You yourself are exploring and experimenting with life, right? So that took me another exploration upon colors and their association with our life. Okay. So I was talking about the nakshatras. Let's revisit where Raj had stopped. So I told that there are 27 nakshatras. Each nakshatra has 4 padas. Padas means 4 parts. So like zodiac signs have 30 degrees. No, each zodiac sign encompasses 30 degrees, and there are 12 zodiac signs. So together they encompass 360 degrees of the sky around Earth. These nakshatras encompass 13 degrees 20 minutes each, and they are 27 in number. So if you multiply 13 degree 20 minutes with 27, you get 360 degrees again. Now the nakshatras, each one of them has a 4 components, or you can say the sky is distributed into 27 nakshatras, and in each nakshatra, that particular part of the sky is distributed into 4 parts. Each part 3 degree 20 minutes. And these planets are moving across these nakshatras also, and zodiac signs also. And we are mapping both. So what astrology is teaching us is that when it comes to the journey of the soul, in terms of gaining maturity, gaining understanding, gaining enlightenment, it is nakshatras which are the more important factor. And when it comes to predicting the life events, no career path, what career you should go for, or what education you should pursue, or whether you should marry this person or not, like that, or health issues, at what stage, what health issues may arise, or if you have a health issue, what treatment to take. Such things, people can go to an astrologer to find out. And these are more ruled by the planets. So planets are ruling more the mundane aspects of life, and nakshatras are ruling more the setting in which the life story of a particular person unfolds. And 108 is a very sacred number in Indian belief system. And one reason for that is the fact that in astrology it is believed that, in Vedic astrology, it is believed that the soul of a human perfects itself across 108 steps, which are the 108 nakshatra padas. So in a way, you can visualize a baby taking birth in the first pada of the first nakshatra in Ashwini, and then traveling through the whole gamut of life experiences across many lifetimes, gaining maturity more and more, 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 and ultimately one day reaching such an extreme state of wisdom where he or she absorbs or has absorbed the knowledge hidden in all the 108 places. because there are deep mysteries hidden in each part of the sign, in each pada of the nakshatra. So if someone is so enlightened that he has reached the very end of this whole cycle, then that person at the soul level understands the wisdom hidden in all the 108 nakshatra padas. So as a result of that, we call it the 108 steps of Vishnu. Vishnu is our soul. He or she takes 108 steps across the entire gamut of nakshatras and becomes a perfected being or a godlike being. Maybe Krishna was one such person. Maybe Amma is one such person. The supremely enlightened beings. Maybe Buddha was one such person. Once Buddha was asked by one of his disciples that what you are teaching us is all that you know, or are you teaching us only a little bit? So Buddha, just plucked a few leaves and told, what I'm teaching you is this much, my child, but this is good enough for you to become happy in life. And what I know is like this tree that you see behind. So idea is that now Buddha was never a boastful person, but he told this to his disciple. So which tells you that the extent of his knowledge. What he has shared itself is so staggering that whole planet was influenced for so many years. And what he was having already in his mind was much, much more than that. But then everything may not be relevant to different people because the teacher teaches only when a student needs something. What is the point in telling something which has no relevance, right? So like that. So this is the possibility of knowledge. So different nakshatra padas represent different types of knowledge. For example, one pada may deal with sculpting, painting, singing. Another part may deal with engineering, metallurgy. Another part may deal with healing, nursing, treating, Ayurveda, medicines, like that. One aspect may deal with relationships, emotional intelligence. Another part may deal with how to create wealth. Another part may deal with science and higher science and technologies. Another part may deal with meditation, and the super conscious states of consciousness, like that. So even the Nakshatra padas can be classified into tamas, rajas, and sattva. It seems there is a basic design of the divine, that everything is like either tamas or rajas or sattva or a mixture of these three things. These are basic fundamental ideas, and we will use these ideas to build our knowledge more and more. Okay, and since we are part of this universe, not isolated, it is good for us to know everything that influences us, and good to understand our responsibility and our capacities for influencing the ecosystem. So the way it is constructed is that each of one of us is one node in the chain of life, and each node is influencing me, but I in turn can influence each node. So if I awaken more and grow my light a little bit more in my being, I cannot but help my wife to grow her light, and my sons to grow their light, and my brother to grow his light, and my sisters to grow their light. It is like that. My students to grow their light. And if I become a little bit darkened, then I disturb my wife a little bit, I disturb my children a little bit, I disturb my brothers and sisters a little bit, and my colleagues at the workplace a little bit. It is like that. So we each develop together, or we each deteriorate together. That is the idea. So when we look at the world outside today, the materialistic values and short-term thinking has taken a precedence today. And certain things have got created at institutional level whose influence is very, very significant and difficult to remove also because they have become institutionalized. But then it is the consciousness of the society which has produced those institutions. I'll tell you one example: corporate entity. Let us look at the corporate entity. A corporate entity is a fiction. It is not a person. ABC Limited is a fiction. It's a legal fiction which we create. Okay. Then there are shareholders who own the company, and there is not one shareholder. There are multiple shareholders, and shareholders don't manage the company. The managers manage the company. Which gives birth to agency problem in strategic management. Now here, these agents, the managers, are trying to maximize the wealth of the shareholders. And only way to do that is to by making huge profits, cutting expenses, increasing revenues, right? And the profits belong to shareholders. After paying all the dividends and everything, what remains belongs to shareholders. And based upon that, the stock market values the stock of that particular company. This is the whole structure, isn't it? In this structure, you see, when corporates are small entities, they may not disturb the entire ecosystem. But when they have become very big, they have become huge multinationals, and their footprints are present across the globe. And the amount of raw materials that they are accessing from the ecosystem is so huge, and the amount of waste that they are dumping is so huge, then it starts to influence the Earth's ecosystem. Now we can no longer neglect or ignore this. As a society, we can no longer neglect or ignore this. Now this was the problem till yesterday. Now a more significant problem is also coming. Another significant problem is coming, this artificial intelligence. This artificial intelligence is developing so fast that what I understand, and you people may know better than me, many of you come from industry and you have better access to information, that many people will become redundant in a few years' time. Their employability will be very difficult. Now, if the corporate entities want only profit maximization, it makes sense for them to replace the manpower with AI. Because when we employ manpower, we have to pay wages and salaries, which is a huge expense. It makes sense given the purpose of the company, which is maximization of shareholders' wealth. Isn't it true? So companies are very much logical in hiring more and more AI-based softwares to replace human skills. Now this is again a situation which will lead to huge amount of unemployment. Okay, and if it is a very massive scale unemployment, then in the very short to medium term, the income of the people will be plummeting a lot. When the income of the people plummets a lot, it will affect the demand because people don't have enough money to buy, and it may bring about a recession. This AI-induced unemployment itself may become, induce a recession. So in a way, you see, it is karma. Companies in the search for profit, they are ultimately harming their own market. It will come, and that will be a recession, which will be very difficult to overcome because how do you put money back in the people's pocket? Because their work is being done by software. So it may force you to confront a situation where consciously as a society you decide that we will not go for technology beyond the limit. It also raises certain other deep moral questions. For example, I am a doctor. I know my very being is of a doctor. I want and I love to serve patients. And I am replaced by an AI-based software, which has no compassion. So what I do with my compassion now? And what I do with the medical knowledge now? I'm useless now. So what it does to my self-esteem? What it does to my sense of meaningfulness in life? It's not only about money, it's also about meaning. So all kinds of problems are being created. So what I am trying to say is that today, because of our going so far away from these wisdom principles, we have created many such situations which are now coming back to haunt us. In a way, karma is going to teach us. No, our actions were karma. And they are going to teach us at a collective level through painful experiences that this is bad karma. This is the path which pays off till a certain level. Technology is useful, very useful, to make our life very useful, very easy, very simple. But what it does is it gives us leisure time. It was meant to give us leisure time. That is what Karl Marx had imagined. In that leisure time, Karl Marx had imagined we will use it for our enjoyment and for our development. We can read philosophy, history, we can paint, we can sing, we can become better painters, artists, we can develop our talents, we can love each other more, visit our relatives more, enjoy our marriage, at a very leisurely pace. 10 days we go and live at a relative's house in Agra and enjoy. Because we have enough money, technology is doing the work. That was his vision. But it did not come true. What we are doing is that we are earning more money and we want more money. And in the meanwhile, the flat in Bangalore is going from 50 lakhs to 1 crore to 2 crores to 3 crores to 5 crores. Whatever you earn, you go to give to the builder. And then whole life you pay EMI. Isn't it happening? And everyone also wants to live in Bangalore only. So our heaven has become a hell now. Bangalore was heaven 20 years ago. And now I don't want to go to Bangalore. We got traffic problem. You see? A girl is beautiful, we enjoy her beauty, then we make her Miss India and then Miss World, and then she becomes a commodity. And then we make her life miserable. This paparazzi, they make her life miserable. Mahendra Singh Dhoni cannot go for a haircut in Ranchi without security. He has to inform the district magistrate that I am going for a haircut. Because, then commandos can come and give him protection. This kind of madness we have in society. This is not the way. We have gone wrong somewhere in our value system. So let's revisit our value system. What is it that gives fundamentally happiness, clarity, peace, and well-being to everyone, ourselves and others? Okay. And whatever we do, wherever we are, we can never escape some fundamental facts. One fact is that we will always be living in an environment, each one of us. We can never escape an environment. And when the environment around us is very turbulent, it will start to influence us. And in that kind of turbulent environment, we have to retain our sanity, our peace, our happiness, be resilient, and create a more positive situation using our life as a tool around in our immediate environment, in our family, in our neighborhood, in our workplace. We can be an entrepreneur, we can create our own company with our own exalted values, culture. So idea is that at this moment in time, in this moment of history, each one of us who is more enlightened, little bit, we need to connect together, network together, and give a push towards growing the light in society more and more, more and more. So that is my purpose in this initiative which I have. We spread these ideas using ourselves as a tool. That what gives happiness. Like your happiness starts growing, day by day. In a year or two, you become so happy. People start asking you, Sachit, what you are doing? How you can be so peaceful? The company is turbulent, everyone is turbulent. So Neha, how you are able to smile so sweetly and as if nothing has happened? So that is the idea. And so that will increase your influence and you start to use that influence. You start writing blogs, using social media for spreading these ideas, where people start to get more in touch with themselves. Because it is getting in touch with our own true self which will give us happiness and not by losing our contact with our true self. That is why self-realization in these modern times is even more important. And it needs to become a common idea. In ancient India, there was fourfold Purushartha system, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Thing with wisdom is that what is true 10,000 years ago in human society will be true even today because they are fundamental ideas. So, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, what it meant was that you see, it was a solution to human condition based upon very deep observation and understanding of human tendencies and human qualities. So these ancient rishis, they saw human beings and they understood that human beings, wherever they are, they will always have desires, right, and needs. So that is kama. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That is kama. So kama is desires and needs. And humans can never be happy unless they fulfill those desires and needs. So these four Purusharthas basically are prescriptions for happy life. Okay. And I think we need to revisit this because it is time now. Because we have lost touch with a couple of these Purusharthas. We are too much in touch with two of them and too much out of touch with two of them. Okay. And that is why we are suffering. So they accepted that karma is there, the core of human being, desire and needs, and they need to be fulfilled for a human to be happy. So how do you fulfill your desires and needs? You fulfill your desires and needs, karma, by gaining artha, material well-being, wealth, money, income, property. These things you need to buy those things which will help you to meet your needs and desires. Food, clothing, shelter, good lifestyle, everything. You need money. Artha. So kama and artha are in the center. You can see dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So kama and artha in the center. But on the left side dharma and right side moksha, which are like bulwark ideas. Ideas which give a boundary and give a direction to life. Okay. And they also told, rishis also told, based upon their own inner explorations, that there is a simple level of happiness which comes through meeting needs, kama, using artha, and an ultimate level of happiness which one can get by becoming one with God or divine consciousness. What you call enlightenment. And that they call moksha. So moksha is the state of conscious enlightenment and conscious union with the divine consciousness, which rishis themselves are attained. Okay. And from that supreme state of consciousness, they are writing their different texts. Okay. And giving these methods of living to society. In ancient times, the rishi was the most powerful person and the most respected person. So much so when a rishi will walk into a king's court, the king will stand up and sit at the rishi's feet, and the rishi will sit on the throne. That was the culture of India. Whenever I acknowledge rishi, a rishi who is acknowledged by society as an enlightened one, will come into even the greatest king's court. The king will get up from the seat, give it to the rishi, and himself sit at the feet of the rishi to demonstrate to the public that rishi is the most important person in society. Okay. And what is the secret of rishi's power or this veneration? The secret is that the whole society understands that moksha is the ultimate value. And this person has attained that. This person is a liberated being who has attained supreme enlightenment. So actually the rishi walking into my court is God walking into my court. Embodiment of God is walking into my court. So obviously when God is in front of me, God deserves to sit on the throne and I deserve to sit at his feet. That was the hidden secret behind what you see in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Serials that you will see these things, right? A rishi will come and King Dasratha will give a seat to the rishi. You have seen that in Ramayana and all, right? So that is why they were giving that respect. So society was led by rishis, enlightened beings. And whenever a great crisis will come, The king will invoke these rishis, call these rishis, or go to the rishis and seek guidance because they have the ultimate solution to any problem. Okay, because they have access to divine consciousness. That was the understanding in India. And dharma was that, as Raj has shared here, the right way of living, and human behaviors considered necessary for the order of things in the world. So, what it is saying is that the world that you see around us is not lawless, it is lawful. It is ordered according to some intelligent principles. Law of karma is one of them. And our motive since last class is to explore karma more and more, right? We'll go now in that direction. So I'm taking you now in that path now. So law of karma is one of them. And law of karma and the word dharma, these two words are maybe two of the most complex ideas given by Indian culture to society. Dharma is a very intricate word, multi-layered word with multi-layers of meanings. And karma again is a even more complex word, even with more multiple layers of meaning. And my understanding is that unless you understand dharma and karma, you can never be happy in a sustainable way as an individual, as a family, as society. And this understanding will automatically tell you when to say no to AI and why to say no to AI. It is like this: a car, Ferrari, can run at 200 miles per hour, let's say, right? Will Usain Bolt be able to defeat that car in running, sprinting? There is no chance. No? A horse will run faster than Usain Bolt. A very powerful horse may run faster than Usain Bolt. Isn't it true? Or a cheetah or a panther. Isn't it true? Then why in Olympics we are having so much fascination for 100-meter sprints? Why we celebrate Usain Bolt so much? Because he is the fastest human. We are proud that a human can run so fast. We have nothing to do with how fast Ferrari runs or how fast a panther runs because we are humans. So one aspect of life, human life, is to challenge our human limitations. There is joy in that. Even when one human beats the limitations by a little bit, we all humanity celebrate. That is why we celebrate Usain Bolt, isn't it? Am I right or not? Similarly, the strongest computer programs can beat Magnus Carlsen very easily. But that doesn't mean that we don't celebrate the world championship of chess. Because it is a human competition. We are not interested in what the computer can do. We are interested in what a human can do. Tomorrow you can produce an AI-based software which can sing better than Lata Mangeshkar. And if the children of that generation do not understand the value of Lata Mangeshkar, that will be a very sad day. Just because my AI software can sing very nicely, and hence we don't understand the value of Lata Mangeshkar, that is a very sad day. That is a very, very sad day because we humans have lost touch with that in us which is human. So what it means to be human? What it means to be human is a very deep question, a very pertinent question, relevant question. And time has come for this question to become a very big question and be available to all over the world. What it means to be human. And this is the only antidote to AI. AI is a good tamasha, okay? It's a good tamasha, good. But it is not a good tool to replace the human workforce. Because it raises the question, What is the purpose of society? What is the purpose of society? Purpose of society is to create more profits for some corporate entities, or purpose of society is to give maximum well-being to maximum number of people with minimum amount of pain. What is your answer? My answer is very clear. I already shared that, right? I would take a pause and listen to your responses to this.
I would like to share that I completely we are on the understanding that AI, like you said, even I used to think a few years back when AI had just begun. I was thinking about an example of, say, for the example, Amazon as a company or an organization or corporate. If they are advancing to such extents that they can use AI and do n number of things where they can deliver at much lesser, they can do n number of benefits for their limited logical understanding is they're trying to benefit the customer end of the day. But when customer himself will lose the buying capacity, when people are going to get unemployed, when no one is going to have the buying capacity itself, it will again come back and bite them at the end of the day by not being able to even buy the same product. But that by that time it will be too late. By that time it will be too late for any corporate to realize that all of this became meaningless. And there are many such. I mean, few years back, also Elon Musk was also talking about there might be a time where governments might be forced to give kind of salaries, defined salaries to everyone, where everyone will be given X amount of money because people might not end up working. But that is certain unrequired direction. And like you said, if if we are not going to celebrate the capability of human being, that becomes meaningless, and it can lead to a lot of unnecessary direction of the humanity, because many more people will fall into depression, many more people will fall into all kind of mental illness also, because there'll be nothing left to do meaningful if that's the case. So it's a scary thought to go into that direction. So it's a very important time that we need to bring this.
There are many pointers from our past also, in the sense that machines can lift a lot of weight, but we go to the gym not to become more strong. No? Is it not?
Yeah,
Machines can lift weight, so it's not only about machines lifting weight; it's also about me being strong, right? Similarly, AI can paint very well, but my child has inclination towards painting. Will I not encourage her?
definitely.
But what is the point? If we start comparing her output to what the machine has painted, there is no point. That is not the point. Perfect machines are good for fun. They're fun activity. But if we take them too seriously, then actually we have lost the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What is the purpose of human life? Purpose of human life is happiness. Do you agree with me?
Yeah,
Happiness which is not destructive but constructive. Happiness comes from healthy sources. Right. So in that happiness, what you see embedded, you see the following qualities: wisdom. First quality, I'll go very slow now. First quality that you need in a human, in a true human, in fact, that is what it means to be human, is wisdom. That is the most important quality. Why it is so is because what we are blessed with as a species is this powerful brain. This powerful brain is not as powerful as AI, but we are missing the point. The point behind our intelligence is that it is the human intelligence. And the owners of the companies are also human beings. They have to remember that they are human beings, and that customers are human beings, and that employees are human beings, and that my children are human beings, and that we all are human beings. We have to forget our status as a shareholder for the sake of the larger good, because we now realize that We have enough money in the bank to feed our next 27 generations. So that is not a problem for me personally as a shareholder. No, as Mukesh Ambani. That is not my problem. But I am noticing is that what I have done is destroyed the entire beauty of human life. So as a species, I can compare to other species. But as a species, I should not compare. I need not compare to a computer or a machine. That is a dead entity. A dead entity singing a beautiful song has no meaning for the dead entity. The dead entity is only performing a skill, but skill devoid of meaning is meaningless. When Neha sings very beautifully, it has meaning for Neha's parents, and for Neha's friends. But when AI sings very beautifully, it has no meaning for anyone. It's only a gimmick, it's a skill, it's a tamasha. There is no soul, there is no passion, there is no effort on the vocal cords. We want that sweat, blood, and tears, that pain of Neha in becoming a perfect singer. Her journey. Why this raga was very difficult. And overcoming that, that is the human journey. Adversity, challenges, growth, transcending. And that gives joy. A machine has no idea of joy. Yes or no? So human life is a celebration of spirit or matter. Matter gives challenges. Spirit says, it is not real. I will overcome it. And that is human life. It is God fighting against odds. That is what that moksha aspect gives us. That is why time to revisit those four Purusharthas. Because law of karma cannot be separated from four Purusharthas. Hence I brought it. Moksha is the ultimate destination of human consciousness, where we become one with God and we can laugh with God that what a grand celebration, what a grand spectacle we have created. Machines are a spoil sport in the whole drama, especially when our children take machines too seriously. See, when beautiful things become commoditized, many things happen, subtle things happen, which we need to educate society about. A man-woman relationship is called marriage, okay? Was called marriage traditionally, okay? But the moment a man-woman relationship got reduced to sex alone, then marriage has no meaning. Now, in the postmodernist way of looking, you look at marriage and you see through marriage and it seems like a hollow entity. It seems like a senseless entity. You are saying that you are basically a victim of your traditions. You are a victim of your culture, which has brainwashed you into believing that you are a monogamous creature. Man is basically a polygamous creature. Any man, healthy young man, when he is with a very beautiful young woman, and that young woman shows some interest in him, he may become sexually aroused. So man is by design polygamous creature. Okay. So belief in marriage where you are forced to be monogamous is a compulsion which is unnecessary, which biology doesn't support. So this culture that you're talking about, this tradition you're talking about is bullshit. Okay? Now this particular argument does not understand the meaning of Dharma and does not understand the purpose of human life. Does not understand the relevance of a glorious future and a weak past and a helpless present. It does not understand the significance of meaning in life. When a particular woman becomes my wife, she is not only my sex partner. She is not. She is a goddess in my life. She is the mother of my children. She is the sacred yin, and I am the sacred yang. She is the sacred Shakti. I am the sacred Shiva. For whom? For my children. There is a deep meaning, deep sacred responsibility in becoming a father and a mother. After that, your life is not meant for you. Your life is meant for your children. And this is Dharma. So in India, there is an idea of Yajna. Life is supposed to be a Yajna. Famous sloka in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that those who don't offer offerings to the Yajna lit up by God and they eat, they are thieves. Krishna calls them thieves. Life is a sacred fire. Each day, lot of offerings need to be made to the sacred fire so that the sacred fire can feed the whole life on the planet. When the lion eats the cow offers herself to the lion. And when the lion dies, he offers himself to the Mother Earth. Becomes part of the soil in which the crops and the forest will grow. So if you look at entire nature, no one is indispensable. Everyone, everything is a part of the larger entity called nature or this universe. And nothing is static, everything is dynamic, everything is moving. Either you move back or you move forward, but there is no way for you to remain in the same place. So far, I'll take a pause. Do you agree with my drift of thinking? Am I being too abstract or do you follow my thought process?
Definitely, sir. And certainly I agree with you on the four purposes of life. Definitely we need to revisit. Sir, in my opinion, there is no fine balance between these four. Today, there is no harm in earning. But how much are we earning? Do I need 10 houses, hundreds or thousands acres of land? I don't think so. Even I'll be able to enjoy. Probably somebody else is going to enjoy. Even I don't have a confirmation that my children are going to enjoy that. Simply I'm accumulating. So my whole purpose is focused towards the accumulation and I'm not looking at anything else. And now coming back to the giving back to the society, corporate see it from the corporate social responsibility. That is more from the compliance standpoint, and it loses meaning when it is not done with a purpose. So that's about the Dharma, the corporate way of Dharma. And talking about some of the products which you spoke last time, sir, cola is coming, and now we also talk about some daily products which we use. For example, Pepsodent, all these kind of toothpastes. Probably we are using a lot of chemicals, and that is how we are seeing a lot of people in the hospital, cancer, early death because of the heart attack. This is part of the collective karma which all of us are responsible for directly or indirectly. Of course, I might not have anybody who is suffering with cancer, but even I see my friends or somebody in their family, if somebody is suffering, it's their suffering too. For example, if I have somebody who is ill in my home, though I'm working, I'm fit and healthy, but somewhere it will impact me as well. So this karma, not necessarily for us. Even if somebody else is going through in my family or in my neighborhood, certainly it will have some sort of impact on our life. So you also gave a beautiful example of land prices going up. And yeah, even I wonder why some of my friends, close friends, I tell them not to take too much of stress on the financial side of it, going for 1.5 crore, 2 crore land, 2 crore of apartment by selling their other property, which is their agriculture land. So it doesn't make sense. After having a 2 crore loan or 1.5 crore loan, will this person be able to sleep peacefully? So that's going to impact their life. If the person is about to live for 70 years as a natural life, this person will die within 45, 50 years because of the pressure that they go through. So these are the different sort of karma that we create by ourselves without revisiting the four things of it. For example, today, if a person is going to live in a rented house, some people are pretty happy because they don't have a burden of 2 crore on their head. Every month they pay 15,000, 20,000 rent, they're living happy. Versus the other person. Today we keep benchmarks of billionaires and all that. We don't know the kind of pressure they go through. And suddenly they become bankrupt, then they have to evade from the company. Kingfisher is one of those examples. Vijay Mallya is out of the country, and we can only know what kind of pressure that person is going through being a billionaire. So definitely it makes sense when you speak about these four purposes of human life. So I think there is a strong need for our education system to incorporate some of these things. Along with this, patriotism is something which is lacking, I strongly believe. I think these things will take us to a common emotion, especially the patriotism is a beautiful emotion which should take our younger generation to a common. I think slowly it will take us to the
So yeah. So
end of moksha.
so actually, before I started these classes on Sunday, I was meditating. I will share with you the entire depth of thought which came to me in the revelation and how I started. So it came to me that when I go to an ashram, Amma's ashram for example, I take ashray. Ashram is a place where you take ashray. Now these are beautiful Sanskrit words. Ashray means you take refuge, a place where you feel very happy, very safe, very secure, at least for some time. Ashram is a place which is not like any other place on the planet. Ashram is a place where the vibrations are purely sattvic in nature. Everyone in the ashram is at your service and is only trying to pray for your well-being and help you gain well-being. That is why it's called an ashram. So ashram is the place where I feel that I can take ashray because I feel supported from all the sides. The entire universe, that ashram is a universe, mini universe. Everything in the ashram supports me as a human being, celebrates me as a human being, want to develop. Right? This one thought came to me. It came in a series of classes, and hence I started. The second thought which came to me was Gurukula system. The Gurukula system was a place where the children used to go and live with the Guru till 25 years of age. And in those 20 years of their life, from age 5 or 6, they will come until 25, they will remain with the Guru. The Guru will shape their consciousness into a beautiful consciousness. The Guru was not only the Guru to teach him them archery or sculpting or the blacksmith's job, which they will go and do society. Once they graduate from the Gurukul, they will learn some skill and go and give back to society. Right? So in a way, the skills that they learned was the artha, which they gained. Then that skill, the artha, will become money when they give that artha in service to society. No, they will get the wages, right? So that is the economic system of the ancient times. The Gurukula was a place where the workforce of the economy is being trained, artha part is taken care of, so that that child, after becoming a young man or woman, can fulfill the needs and desires, Dharma. But not only that, the Guru also shaped their consciousness in a dharmic manner. So that Dharma, the principles of Dharma, that set of principles which only teach you to do good, be good, see good, be dutiful, be a worthy member of society, don't harm anyone, teaching them all the necessary principles which give them enough wisdom to live an intelligent, ethical life. That was also the Guru's role. So Guru is Dharma and Artha both. Skills is Artha because it is employability. And then Guru will send them after graduation. And the child will become man and then serve society. So Dharma, Artha, Kama was taken care of. And not only that, in the Gurukula, when the Guru saw a bright student who can himself become a Guru, the potential is there. Then that Guru grooms that child with special education. more higher level of education, because that child can attain self-realization. And Guru himself was self-realized in those days. The Gurus who were allowed to start a Gurukula were supposed to be enlightened beings, one with God. So they were given the responsibility of their children. How beautiful that simple system was. I am sure that this was possible because of low population and a very simple lifestyle. And I'm sure that that is not possible in that level of purity. But what is possible is that the thought came to me that I can start a Gurukula on internet, which is not meant for children from 5 to 25, but for young men and women who are very mature and my own students. And slowly then this can spread and maybe more students can join me who are not my students but are willing to become my students. And this my and I is not important. What I'm trying to say, similarly, other teachers can start their own Gurukulas. Those who feel like connecting to me, connect with me. Those who feel like connecting to someone else, they'll connect to someone else. But the point is that teachers of my type who have gained some wisdom, they need to start the internet-based Gurukulas. And to make it a Gurukula, they should show some spirit of sacrifice. So this committing my Sunday is my sacrifice. No, Yajna, in that Yajna I am giving my offering, my time, my energy, my life to society's well-being. That was the revelation which struck me with tremendous power and I could not stop. Because I have been dilly-dallying for many weeks, many months actually, telling my wife all the way, I'll start now. But then always becoming intimidated because too much of a commitment. But now after that day I felt inspired, that I have to, that idea, Yajna, and I have to make my offering. So, otherwise Krishna will call me a thief when I die. I don't want that. So in a way, we are creating a Gurukula, we are creating a ashram, and we are giving ashray to anyone who wants to take that ashray. And this ashray is of what? Wisdom. The roof of this Gurukula is wisdom. And the life of this Gurukula is a good heart, which feels for society, love for society, everyone in society. Loka samasta sukhina bhavantu. So that was my spirit in which I started. I don't know whether it will succeed, fail or not. But I feel in this path there is no failure because the effort itself is success. Maybe that is what Krishna meant, Ramandavadika. When you start a good thing, it's already a success. Why worry about success? Right? How do you respond to what I said?
Sir, this definition of Yajna and the process of Yajna is very beautiful, sir. There are two examples that comes to my mind. One, in the actual Yajna, what we put inside the Yajna, basically we take all the dry woods and some fruits and then coconut. We offer this to Yajna. When it burns out, it doesn't create carbon dioxide, basically, because we are picking everything from the nature and giving it back to the nature. This is one side, but on the other side, when people do strikes and all, they burn tires and they burn all nonsense things, which will create a lot of pollution in the environment. So when we do good yajnas, taking from the nature and giving it back to the nature is a beautiful thing, and not using any of those pollutant. For example, nuclear bomb deployment to Japan, still people are suffering. It happened few years ago, but still Hiroshima Nagasaki story we all know, people are still suffering. So there was no point in doing it. So no yajna has caused any damages to anybody on the earth, the good yajnas. I think that is where I correlate this to examples, sir.
So yajna, you look at, again the same thing, Lakshyarth, Bhavarth and that Sabdat. So if you look at the Lakshyarth level meaning of yajna, I mean it means that if we want to grow in our consciousness, we have to let go of certain lower qualities and put it in the fire of wisdom. Why? Wisdom is also called the great fire. In ancient Sanskrit, wisdom was compared to the great fire. In that great fire, all that dross, all that is tamas gets burned. Right? So, in that spirit, if you see, as you become wiser and wiser and wiser, you let go of many lower energies, lower habitual patterns through awareness. And that is how you start to get rid of the negative karmas or evil karmas or tamasic karmas, which are afflicting you in the present moment by distorting your perceptions, causing wrong understanding, and hence, taking wrong decisions or behaving in an inappropriate manner or trying solutions which do not meet the situation or trying solutions which will create side effects in the future. So idea is that these karmas, I'll start to revisit the karmas more and more now. So these karmas, why they are negative in nature is because they they overtake our consciousness. They force our consciousness to react in a different way, in a ignorant way, to perceive in an ignorant way. Karma is not something which is coming from outside. In terms of the repercussions of my past karma, what is coming from outside, what we call prarabdha earlier, that is okay. But now I'm talking about the karma which are sitting in me, which are affecting my kriyaman or agami karma, my actions in the present moment, my thoughts in the present moment, my feelings in the present moment, and my actions in the present moment. That is a relevant thing, because that is where my life is being lived right now. So if I could raise my consciousness, I can respond to my life in a much better way than what I am able to do today. And to the extent I can raise my consciousness, to the extent I can respond to the current situations in my life in a better way, I solve many problems at a root level and they go away from my life. I can solve the problem of scarcity of money. I can solve the problem of poor health. I can solve the problem of poor relationships with my wife or my any relative. I can solve the problem of the wrong job, the wrong career choices. I can choose my job better. I can choose my next workplace better. In the existing workplace, I can forge better alliances. I can respond in a better way. I can create a new dynamics in my workplace with my new understanding. I can use my free time much better. I can connect with my family much better. I can take care of my children much better by becoming better parents. Or becoming a better parent. So in every way you can imagine, wisdom is very important. So I was telling about happiness. So one quality which goes into happiness and which is perhaps the most important quality is the wisdom. Because wisdom is that which liberates us from karma. Why? Because karma arises how? From ignorance. What is the genesis of karma, which programs my mind? It is lack of awareness. When I was not aware, some negative habitual pattern of thinking and behaving has become my nature. When I was not paying attention, maybe I was following my father and doing the same things my father used to do, or I'm following the teachings of a teacher or some book or something. Some way, somewhere, I have got influenced by something uncritically, and hence behaving like that. Even if it is a part of my DNA, coming from my last 7 generations, the fact is that I can still raise my consciousness sufficiently to be able to even understand those DNA level habitual patterns. So in this connection, there is a person, his name is, the book's name is Biology of Belief. His main book is Biology of Belief. The person's name, you can just search on Google and find out. I'm not getting the name of the author. His whole life work is in proving that our DNA can change.
Bruce H. Lipton, sir.
Bruce Lipton, yes. Bruce Lipton. So Purusharthas' life work is in proving, and he has proved sufficiently, that our DNA is also influenceable or can be influenced with our thoughts. If we change our thoughts, our DNA also changes. So awareness has that power. Even the programming of 7 generations in our DNA can be overcome with awareness. And that is why the first quality which goes into happiness is wisdom or awareness. Okay. Then what are the other qualities? Other qualities are, one is resilience, never giving up, knowing that a solution exists, knowing that no matter how hard the problem, there is a solution which I can find. So I never give up. I keep trying and trying and trying to adapt myself, to improve myself, to evolve myself, to raise my consciousness, raise my wisdom, till I am able to meet the situation, till I am able to solve the challenge. This is resilience. Another quality which goes into happiness is love, ability to feel love. Even if it is for my child, for my wife, for my family, my parents, my friends, and for myself, doesn't matter. Even if it is to start with for few people. But this capacity to feel love is a very important part of happiness. If you can't feel love, you can never feel happy. In fact, feeling of love itself is happiness in many ways. When you enjoy playing cricket, you love cricket, so you enjoy, isn't it? You are expressing love for that game, or expressing love through that game. So love is basically another name for happiness only. So it's very important to never let our hearts go so dry because of facts and figures and data and metrics. Is very important. Because these days now we are focusing so much attention upon metrics and numbers and profits and losses that there is a danger that in studying statistics and accounts and finance, we may dry up our heart so much that we stop feeling love anymore. It's a great danger. It's a great danger. So we do so much science, so much technology, so much data, and so much information science that we lose contact with our heart center, which is there to allow us to feel love. It's a very important part of happiness. The other part of happiness is meaningfulness. The work that we are doing, does it have any meaning for us? What enables a parent to make so many sacrifices for the child is the meaningfulness in that behavior. The parent is able to take so many sacrifices, no? So much pain for the sake of the child. Why? Because this gives them happiness. This sacrifice is a part of a great yajna of life. We offer our time, our energy, our money in that yajna fire so that the child can grow as a fruit of that yajna. It's a great yajna, every parent does it. So you see, in the Lakshya sense, yajna can mean these things also. When I sacrifice for the sake of my child, that is the yajna I am doing. When I sacrifice for the sake of my marital relationship, that is the yajna I am doing. When I sacrifice for the sake of my subordinate at the workplace, that is the yajna I am doing. Soldier, protecting the frontiers of the boundary, he is doing a yajna. His youth he is giving, his life he is giving, everything is giving for the sake of the country. So, this understanding that everyone is playing their role in the great grand yajna of life is a part of that wisdom, that holistic wisdom, which was called Dharma. So Dharma is that understanding. How each and every atom of this universe is contributing to the well-being of the collective. That is the grand vision. So the smaller unit sacrifices itself for the sake of the larger unit. And that is again. So God lives, dies, and relives, and dies, and relives, and dies gets cycled and recycled across lifetimes, across life forms, across species, becomes human. Then within human again recycles, evolves, and becomes a supremely enlightened being, ultimately, which is the climax of this entire exercise. But so many yajnas have been performed for this person to become an enlightened being from being an amoeba 10 billion years ago or 5 billion years ago. That is the whole beauty of this life. So if we think from that perspective, then these problems that are facing modern society, AI and sustainability, they solve themselves automatically. This understanding is so vast and so deep and so rich. And if everyone understands this in society, these problems are automatically solved. They are not problems actually. They are not problems in reality. These are distractions. We have got distracted. And we got distracted why? Because we lost the understanding of purpose. What is the purpose of life? Purpose of life is happiness. More and more happiness and more sustainable happiness. And happiness which includes more and more people in it, in its gamut. So I am happy, my family is happy, my neighborhood is happy, my city is happy, state is happy, country is happy, and the whole world is happy. Loka samasta sukhina bhavanta. That is the purpose. And that purpose is possible to meet only through wisdom, understanding of Dharma. Dharma includes understanding of purpose of life, purpose of society, purpose of everything. You have to contemplate everything and understand its purpose, its Dharma. Like I discussed the marriage as an institution, what it does for purifying the man's consciousness. See, by deciding to commit to my wife, I am not denying my biological polygamous nature. That is wrong understanding. I know that. I understand that. But I don't accept that. I say that that is a lower chakra, Swadhisthana chakra. The sexual feeling is coming from Swadhisthana chakra, which is the second chakra in the hierarchy from bottom. Raj had shown no last class. Muladhara, then Swadhisthana. So I am saying that this chakra energy is meant only for giving birth to my offsprings. And I will be a responsible parent. How? By developing my higher chakra, wisdom chakra, is Agya chakra. I will develop my wisdom. I will develop my ethics, which is the throat chakra. I will develop my love chakra, which can allow me to love my wife and my child. And that love, that dharma, that intelligence, that wisdom, lit a fire in me, a great fire in me. In that great fire of wisdom, the lower energies, which come from the patala, the lower three chakras, patala, I explained in the last class, they get burned. So my sex energy becomes very purified. So when in that state of consciousness, when I love one woman, I have understood what it means to love a woman. Or if I am being loved by a man, I have understood what it means to be loved by a man. I have integrated, assimilated that energy inside me completely, harmoniously. It no longer disturbs me. It's a very high level thinking I am sharing with you, not a very low level thing. In this way of life, we discipline our five senses. We realize that just as what we eat has become my body, similarly, what we consume through the five senses becomes our mind. See, what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, what I touch, these things become my mind. How? Each experience that I experience from these five senses is a karma. Is a karma. Karma is not only volitional action. Karma is also experiences that you are compelled to experience, which you can't escape. By being a person with five senses and a brain, you are forced to experience all kinds of karma from morning till night. Everything that your sense organs register and everything that your brain pays attention to is a karma, which is programming your consciousness. So anything that you receive through the five senses becomes your inner programming. And that is what is called the mind. So your mind is basically being made by the consumption of these sensory inputs and your thought process. Karma means basically programming. If you ask me to give one word for karma, it is programming. Karma is programming. So I, the pure consciousness, am programmed by my karma to interpret reality through the lens of my karma or my karmic disposition. I will call it my karmic disposition. I am introducing a new word, karmic disposition. So my karmic disposition is the filter through which I respond to all the events of my life. So if my karmic disposition is tamasic in nature, my responses will be tamasic in nature. My thought process will be tamasic in nature. My approach towards all my relationships will be tamasic in nature. My approach towards all the resources like money, technology, different gadgets, tools, resources, etc. will be tamasic in nature. That is why karma becomes very important. Because if my disposition itself is tamasic, all my actions and thoughts will be tamasic. So repercussions which will come towards me will be painful only, because tamas corresponds to pain, softening, limitations, bondage. Have you noticed people who live in slum areas? Mostly. Consciousness level in slum areas is mostly very low quality. Am I right or wrong? As a general observation. Am I right or wrong?
Right, sir.
Why it is like that? Children in slum areas, they can take to negative activities very quickly, very fast. They are predisposed to taking such habits very quickly. Law of karma you can see in action right now, in front of your eyes. And it is very difficult to train children from the slums for higher sattvic activities. It takes a lot of effort. It is possible, but a lot of effort, a lot of training is required. It doesn't happen naturally. So in a way, in a karmic plan, they are collected at a certain place, which is riddled by all kinds of limitations, saddled with all types of challenges, problems. I'm not saying that no one can come out from there. They can come out, and we should contribute because they are our own thing. The point is that you can see karma operating like that. Then if it is like that, what is our duty or our not duty, maybe our intelligence, our intelligent understanding of life process should tell us that our happiness depends upon this grand exercise. This is called work. We work upon ourselves. So this whole exercise is called the work. Why it is called the work is because the fact that we are already disposed towards certain karma, we are disposed by certain karma, already says that we are compromised to start with. Our consciousness is not pure, it is compromised to start with. Till such state, when I understand this and say that I will do something about it. Let's say, to take an example, let's say I am a person who is 35 years old or 40 years old, and my main objective in life is to earn a lot of money and to gain career success. and everything else is secondary to that, and I'm driven in that pursuit, right? So I will say that that is his karma. Being very ambitious, being very aggressive, being very focused upon career success is that person's karmic disposition. But in that process, what that person is missing out on, he is missing out on beautiful relationships with his wife, with his children, his parents, relatives, friends. The time that he could have spent with his child is given completely to the job. And then what happens? The child, before he realizes, has grown up and become 15 years old. And suddenly one day he feels, oh my God, I never hugged my child or never spent those innocent moments with my child, and now not possible. My child is 15-year-old young man or young woman. I cannot, hug and kiss and, lie down with him the way it was possible 15 years ago or 10 years ago. So there's only regret possible, You can only regret because time can never be turned back. So in this process of chasing your goals and dreams and ambition, you are missing out on so many beautiful things which were also very possible. It would have given you more happiness than what, your life choice gave you. So what I'm saying is that when you become aware of your own karma or karmic disposition, you can take a few steps. They go like this. First, you are being the karma. At first, when you are unaware, you are your karma. Can I say that? You are the way you behave, you are the way you think, you are the way you feel. Can I say that? Or can I not say that?
Yes. Yes.
So, I am nothing but the way I think, feel and behave. And that is my karma. In the first stage, when I am not aware, I am being my karma. In the next stage, I take a pause. And this pause is important. I say, I will not behave on autopilot. I take a stand. I take a conscious decision. I will not behave on autopilot. I will create a space between the stimulus and my response. Whatever the stimulus, be it early morning Monday, 9 o'clock, I have to go to my office, and I am that person, very driven and very ambitious and focused upon my goal and my career, and missing out on my family life and enjoyment with my children. Let's say, I am the man. Now I say that in this week, I will not be my karma. That is what I mean by taking a pause. I don't mean I will not go to office. I will go to office. I will do everything that I am meant to do. But at the same time, I will not be only my karma. I will also be the awareness behind my karma that is living my life. It's a conscious decision. This week, I will not only be my karma, I will be the awareness that is living as this karma. Because how this karma was picked by me, by my programmability. I was programmable, hence I was programmed. And today I have become this program. Right? But today I have woken up a little bit. So I say that I will not be my program only for this week. I will also be that intelligence which was programmed. And it's a very important decision. Because if I want to undo the dysfunctional program, and if I want to reprogram myself into a better version of myself, then I need to make this conscious decision. Because if I have to elevate myself, no one else can do it for me. Can my wife do it for me? Can my mother do it for me? No one can do it for me. Why? Because I am now dealing with my subjectivity. Till last week, I was dealing with objects. Job is an object, company is an object. But I was forgetting the subject. I was taking my subject for granted. See how karma is ruling. Karma is ruling because we have stopped taking care of the subject. We are so much obsessed with objects that we forgot the subject. I call it objectification of the subject. Objectification of the subject. We have been objectified by the objects. I no longer own my car owns me. I no longer do a job, my job does me. I no longer drink alcohol, alcohol drinks me. I no longer play video games play me. Okay, that is my state today. I am ruled by karmas from left, right and center and from inside. Okay, I have become a slave. That is why moksha is called liberation, freedom. Why it is called freedom? Because it's a meaningful word. We are now getting freedom from this slavery to any object or to any unexamined idea or unexamined habit. Someone told a life unexamined is not worth living. You may have heard that. That is what he meant. We have to examine our thoughts, our attitudes, our values, our beliefs. We have to examine our behaviors, the predominant emotions which we experience from time to time, very frequently, because they represent our karmic pattern. With one type of pattern, I may experience happiness all the time. With another type of pattern, I may experience sadness all the time. With another type of pattern, I may experience defects everywhere. Everything is imperfect. In another kind of pattern, I may experience frustration all the time because I am a perfectionist. In another pattern, I may experience anger all the time. Why? Because I am blaming everything and everyone for not doing their part very nicely. Or maybe I have too high expectations from others. With another type of pattern, I find myself brooding in the past, about the past. So there are many types of patterns. I mean, I can go on and on. But idea is that when I am the pattern, can I understand the pattern? When I am being the karma, can I understand the karma? Is it possible or not possible?
Not possible.
Saju, you agree?
Yes, sir. Agree, but it was really a brainstorming statement which we have never thought of, that I myself and my karma are not different. They are almost together. This is a new information, a new statement coming to my mind. So I'm really exploring.
But is it not true?
Yes, sir. It is.
Let us explore a little bit more. Let's say you are angry with your child, and you are seriously angry with your child, and you are, let's say, scolding her or him. So, do you mean your anger or don't you mean your anger? In that
I
moment,
mean my anger.
you are your anger only, not that moment.
Yes, sir. At that moment, I am my anger.
That is why you say I am angry.
Sure.
When you say I am angry, it makes sense, no? Because you are your anger.
Yes, yes. This I think we have discussed in the discussion. I am angry and I experience anger.
My classes are not that easy. They look very easy, but they're not that easy because they will change your life ultimately. Okay, it looks very deceptively easy, but now I'm bringing the same idea closer and closer to your heart, closer to your being. Okay, like a spiral. No, it will keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and higher and higher and higher. Okay, no spiral goes like this,
Yes.
goes deep and then goes high, goes deep and then goes high. Why? Because height depends upon depth. How high you can fly in the sky of consciousness depends upon how deep you can take into your consciousness or your unconsciousness. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. So how high you can fly in your consciousness depends upon how deeply you can dig into your unconsciousness. And a Buddha has dug so deep into the unconsciousness that he has flown high into super consciousness. Okay, where gods live. So when you are being angry, you are being angry. You are your anger. You are being your karma. Karma is an anger. Anger is a karma. You are being your karma, right? When you are craving for something, you are that craving. When you are sad about something, you are that sadness. You and your karma are not two, they are one in that moment. So your life is nothing but a play of karmas. And from where these karmas come, they are sitting inside you. That is why they are being experienced by you again and again. So in the first stage, you are your karma. Then a teacher like me comes in your life, points it out to you, and tells you it's not a good idea to live life like this. You may ask why. Because this is unconscious living. This is unconscious living. Life lived out of karmas means that you are saying fate is the only reality. We had discussion, this fate versus free will. So when you live your karmas as karmas, you are governed by your fate. Astrology will work completely upon you. Your horoscope will completely rule your life. These planets will control you, okay? But the moment you wake up and become aware of this fact, you say, I will take a pause and I will watch now how these karmas spring into action and overcome my consciousness. It requires great amount of development in your inner awareness. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So I shared this today. Now what will happen? If you are serious about it, let's say that Saju is aware of 2 or 3 defects. Can you, if you don't mind, Saju, can you tell me your 3, 4 defects which you feel, if they could be improved, you'll become a much better person?
Negative, sir?
Negative defects which you would like to, have more control over or little bit, less in
Okay.
intensity in you.
First thing, sir, I will say overthinking.
Okay.
And second, due to that overthinking, I am always a bit anxious. I think better than anyone else.
Okay.
And I don't believe that I have a strong grip over my emotions. May it be any emotion to that matter.
They just come and they grip you.
May it be happiness, anger, jealousy, whatever may be. I don't have much control over my emotions.
Emotions. Emotions. So these 3 things you are saying, right?
Sir.
So this is your current state. Now what we are saying is that it is not as if this is the final state. If we like, we can take control and slowly improve and come out of the grip of these negative things. Be it overthinking, be it anxiety, be it being completely gripped by emotions. So idea is that when you're completely gripped by emotions, you don't think rationally at that moment. Whenever emotions overpower us, we stop thinking rationally. Right? We lose control. So these are the karmas that you want to overcome. So I'm saying that first stage is you are these karmas, you didn't know about it, but now you have learned. So now this next stage is you take a pause and say that take a first conscious decision that I will not let my karmas rule me and spoil my happiness. Now I've understood that I can reach a place where these karmas no longer dominate me. I can reach a place where I can observe my emotions and be aware of my emotions and let that emotion touch me or not touch me, or with what intensity. And I can express my emotions the way I like. And not only that, negative emotions don't arise in me because negative emotions come from some blind spots in my consciousness, some lack of understanding. If theoretically or with me. Let's take jealousy. From where does jealousy come? Jealousy comes from a few things, a few belief systems. One is your attraction for something. You want something very badly, be it fame, be it name, be it credit, be it money, be it success, whatever. You crave that very badly, and someone else is getting it. That is what produces jealousy. If you do not crave what that other person is getting, will you be jealous? So if you feel a completeness from inside, you will not feel the jealousy. So what happens is when you start to wake up and you start to reach a level of awareness where you can become aware of your karmas, at that level you also feel a sense of completeness. Because the law of life is the deeper your awareness, more fulfilled you feel. This may be the most significant statement that I made today. I'll repeat. Deeper your level of awareness, more fulfilled, more happy you feel. You may ask why it is. Because our nature is Sad Chid Ananda. So when I am very aware, I am being more of my true nature. And that true nature automatically is happy. Doesn't need anything from outside. First of all, you understand, to be able to be in touch with your karmas in action, you need a lot of space, no? Between you and your karmas. Let's say this is a painting. This is a painting. And I want to understand this painting. And I have been welded inside this painting. With a welding machine, someone has put me inside the painting. And I have become this painting. Now, I am behaving like this painting. With anger, with whatever. I have no idea what I am doing. I'm mad fellows. I'm a victim of someone's trick. But that is not my nature. I had come here to understand the painting. And someone has done a mischief to me and put me inside the painting. If I want to enjoy my earlier way of life, of being an art connoisseur, again, I have to come outside this painting and then observe the painting. And if I am very close to the painting, still I can't observe very carefully. So I have to go a little bit further away from the painting. Then a little bit away when I go, then I can see it very nicely. And then I remember also, oh my God, I am not this person in the painting. I am this. It was like a play in which I was participating. This painting, now imagine this world. That painting is this world. In this world, I imagine that this is my role. But actually, when I went a little bit back, when I saw myself, I understood that, oh my God, I have been by some mischief fixed into this world in a very rigid manner. I had lost all my degrees of freedom. I was completely gripped by my anger, by my jealousy, by my fear. So I was only reacting under the influence of these things, these energies. So that was the first state. I had become my karma or my karmas, and now I have decided that this is not a final state. There are deeper states of awareness possible in me where I can reach, and when I reach those levels, these karmas stop bothering me. And then what happens? These karmas are felt as waves arising in me. A wave of jealousy arises in me, and I start enjoying it. They give me stimulation. Or anger is arising in me, and that doesn't make me very angry. It makes me very curious, very I don't know. I mean, how to put it? It's like very humorous also. Like, okay, still I'm feeling angry, and I am able to feel that okay, that is making me angry. I mean, still, I mean, come on. I mean, how it is possible? I mean, still I am really bothered about this. I'm still a perfectionist. I'm still expecting things from people. So it can bring a smile also to my face. It's like storm in a teacup, and the same storm now being experienced in the ocean. So the ocean is amused at its own imperfections, even though. Did anyone follow what I'm saying? At least intuitively, you can intuit it. Do you think it is possible or not possible? Do you doubt it? How was Krishna able to be like that in a war? Why he was not panicking? He was not reacting like others. Is it possible, Saju? What I just described?
Yes, sir, it is of course possible, but I think we really need to work out, as like you told, what is the basic reason why I am feeling jealous or why I am feeling anger. All these explorations are first required. Then we need an awareness that I should not be exactly my karma, or I should not never permit my karma to rule out myself. That awareness is required. And I think then over a period of time of practicing all these philosophies, I think it would be possible. But at our stage, I think understanding these things are existing, such a way of looking at these things are also existing. I think we really need to understand those concepts first clearly that we are doing now.
Okay, so you think it is possible, but very difficult as of now.
Yes, sir. I think understanding that there are ways to overcome all these things.
Yeah, but actually experiencing that stage is a little bit difficult. That's what you are thinking, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I will tell you with awareness it is possible. First, becoming aware,
Sir.
then patience is required. We need to work a little bit slowly, one thing at a time. You choose one weak karma, small level weak karma, and then work with that at a time. Then overcome that, dissolve that, then take the next one and next one. And slowly, slowly, as you do that, what happens? Your awareness deepens more and more, and your strength, your will, your spiritual will grows more and more strong. So this is the
Sure.
basically a technique where we are using our intelligence to analyze and understand, and we are using our will to say no to the force of this karma, old karma, because our awareness, our intelligence tells it is not a good thing to do. So to take an example, let's say next time when I'm feeling angry and I'm about to explode, this awareness comes to me that see it's a karma. Let me just see what is happening. So I take a pause. Then what happens? The moment you become little bit aware, the anger becomes little bit weaker automatically. Then you deliberately express your anger for the first time in your life. Earlier you were expressing your anger in an unconscious manner. Now you are expressing it in a deliberate manner, being very aware that I'm experiencing anger and still expressing it. So obviously the force in that anger will be much less. As a result, the destruction that the anger will cause will be much less. So this is a very powerful way to resolve karmas and gain awareness. Because to the extent you resolve karmas, to that extent you gain awareness. They are both directly proportional. More aware you are, less the karmas rule you. And less aware you are, more the karmas rule you. That is the law of life. And why getting ruled by karmas is dangerous is because then you're a pocket. Then all the reactions will come. Law of karma will operate. And what happens when you become very aware? When you become very aware, that is what is called enlightenment. Then what happens? God starts to create through you better things in this world. You become a teacher. You become a leader. You help other people learn these things. Okay. So karma is basically a reactive pattern which is sitting inside us because of unconsciousness, unawareness. And one way to resolve it is through gaining awareness over how they operate, why they operate the way they do, where are my inner buttons, which when pressed from outside, these reactions take hold of me. So through intelligent awareness, through intelligent cultivation of wisdom, we can work upon these currents and get rid of them slowly, 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 slowly. Okay. So this is the power of wisdom, the power of awareness. Now, where does wisdom books, or where do wisdom books and mythology and astrology and all this which I was discussing fit in? How they could be helpful? They are helpful because each of them throws some light upon some aspect of the mind. In this journey, what we are doing is we are becoming more and more aware of the vast terrain of the mind. Mind is very vast. Okay, and we are trying to understand the mind in all its depth and detail. And by understanding the mind in great depth and detail, we are gaining power over the mind. By gaining awareness. And slowly, 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 we can start to use the mind more intelligently, more powerfully. That is the way to really come. Okay. Raj, how will you respond to these things? Being an astrologer also. This new take on karma.
Sir, I think you gave a new dimension to going deeper to awareness and understanding karma and taking it easy. Yeah, I read a couple of lines during my college days. It was written like this: knowing self is wisdom, knowing others is intelligence. I could not relate to this particular statement. What does it mean to be knowing self is wisdom and knowing others is intelligence? But I left it as is. I actually took the Dharma. I did not get into the Tattva or Bhavarth of it. Yeah, to me, yeah, it's important. The more we exercise our wisdom and awareness, of course, we can certainly reduce the karma. So that is where I think, sir, yeah, I can correlate the concepts that you are sharing today.
So here in astrology terms, if you see, this gaining wisdom is what? Gaining, more and more of Jupiterian influence inside your being.
Correct.
In a way, you are strengthening your Jupiter.
Right.
By gaining more wisdom, you are strengthening your Jupiter. Naturally, no. So when you strengthen your Jupiter, the hold of Rahu will become weaker, no?
Yep.
Isn't it?
Rahu is Maya. Maya will become lesser.
Isn't it? Rahu is that which deceives you, deludes you, creates illusions. So when you gain more wisdom, your Jupiter is getting stronger. So hold of Rahu is becoming weaker. So your decision making, will it not improve?
Definitely improve, sir.
So decision making will improve. Your actions quality will improve. They will become more wise actions. And when you perform more wise actions, will not negative reactions reduce in life? So to understand this, let's revisit the model of the universe that we have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Can I listen from each one of you? What is your model of this universe? How this universe functions? Let's say law of karma is operating. How this universe may be functioning with respect to law of karma? What is your understanding? Intuitive understanding. I will also give you my understanding. You are doing something here, okay? Mm-hmm. Right? So whatever you are doing, its ripples are being felt by the universe. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So these ripples will go and bring its reactions.
Right.
In that sense, I'm asking.
Okay. Actions creating ripples.
I wanted to add something. No?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think from the previous class when we were talking about karma, I was not able to really relate much basis what thoughts I had about karma. But now when you started taking it much deeper, I think I'm able to understand or relate more. The points that you said about our consciousness has certain impressions, and we have certain karmic impressions, and we carry them from our own experiences. Let it be current experiences or past experiences or whatever, all put together. But what you say is when we grow our awareness and are able to understand that I am not the impressions itself, right? And that's the first step of understanding that I don't need to go through these experiences which are created because of these impressions, or I'll see it in a way that with the filter of these impressions that I carry. So that's the first step. So once I understand that, it slowly starts clearing my impressions. And like you said, the consciousness becomes lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. The more the lighter the consciousness, the word karma doesn't necessarily have any impact. And that same thing when it is applied for an individual level, like our question is it also applies to a group consciousness. So that is what I understand.
Okay, yeah, okay. Shaju, you want to take a stab at it?
Sir, I think the universe is like a monitor of all karma, the broadest version of individual karma, and I should say that is the broadest version, and hence it is monitoring intelligently karma. It distributes judiciously how this karmic aspect has been distributed among people, because somewhere we say Vishnu Vishwade. Vishnu is as this world is. So I think universe is someone who has a power over all this. We say collective consciousness in psycho personality theory. So something like that. I have an individualistic karma level, and someone else has their own level. But when it comes to a broader level, a collectivistic level, I think that monitoring, controlling, governing is happening at the universe level, and that level is, I understand, that is God. Maybe,
Okay,
sir.
so
This is what
okay,
comes to my mind.
so my understanding is that the way this Karab, Agami and Sanchita work out is that it is not as if the highest intelligence of the universe, what you call divine consciousness or God, is not aware about what is happening. It's very much aware. Okay. And the experiences of life that we are experiencing are coming from two levels. One is for the mundane people, normal people. For them, the experiences are coming from their karmic programming. They are working out of their karmic programming, as I explained earlier. They are reacting out of their karma, and they are getting the repercussions according to their horoscope, because of the planetary influences. As these planets run their different, periods in their lifetime, they experience karma according to karma. That is normal people. Now the second type of people. The second type of people who are trying to wake up and trying to become more aware, as we are trying, who start to gain more awareness about their karmas, their expanding awareness starts to get in touch with the supreme intelligence, the highest intelligence, the cosmic intelligence, the God. And as our awareness deepens and expands, God starts to take interest in us directly. In a way, we circumvent the officers in between, and we are in touch with the Supreme Emperor, Supreme God, Paramatman. And what we are doing allows God to co-create with us. So to the extent we gain awareness, to that extent we become a vehicle for divine intelligence to operate through our brain, through our heart, through our being. We become an embodiment of divine consciousness. And from that level, what happens? I experience miracles all the time. Other people will call it miracles, and I know what is happening. God is directly participating in the life now through me. So when God is acting, it will produce miracles only, God's actions will be miracles only, right? So for example, Sachit saw a dream today in the morning. Maybe Sachit, you can relate it to that synchronicity, why the dream came today only, right?
Yes.
That synchronicity you can see, today, Sunday morning, the dream came. In a way, God confirming you that maybe Rajiv Sir is a good person to connect with. Strengthening your faith, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, that God is in helping me, to get more trust from my students. So with a class like this, you will never have hundreds of people. You will have very few people. But these will be people who are really, have a burning desire for truth. We don't need quantity, we need quality. And then slowly as we ourselves gain more and more depth, that will start to also increase the number of people also who get interested. That is how it works. Okay. So, we'll just wind up now because it's already 2 o'clock, past 2 o'clock in my clock. So, did we do justice to karma and, did we go a little bit deeper today? What is your feeling? We'll just hear. If you could switch on your video, it will be good, all three of you. And just share and then we can say bye-bye. Could we go a little bit deeper? Could I succeed in giving a little bit more overview also of what I'm thinking from inside? And also,
Sir, it was, of course, very highly deeper, I should say.
okay.
We are learning the deeper aspects slowly. New thoughts are coming, new ideas are popping up, trying to correlate all of them. Literally, the sessions are taking us to deeper level.
Okay. Yes, Achit Raj, then we can say.
Yeah. So my experience is I could never think of connecting karma to consciousness, and this is a new concept for me because I've studied both of them in separate context and never saw a relationship between consciousness and karma. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to know that the more deeper we go with respect to our consciousness and more we expand and make it more lighter, it has positive influences on our karma is what I understand from today's class.
Okay. So what I'm trying to share is that it's possible to attract even the divine intelligence in our life through our conscious actions. So you never know, this universe is like a series of different levels of creation, like a spectrum. As we go deeper, we hit the very base level, which is the supreme creativity of God. So it is possible to reach those levels. So in a way, your body, mind mechanism and your system is like a laboratory. In this laboratory, if you start conducting experiments inside in consciousness, you start going deeper and deeper and deeper. That's the idea. As you go deeper, you go through many layers of tamas and many layers of rajas, and then the sattva starts to blossom. And that sattva is grace from God. You start to feel that love, that happiness, that peace, that courage, that creativity, that abundance. All your problems start to get resolved. Miracles start to happen in your life. And you now know that God is actively participating in your life. More and more people start to come under your influence. That is how it spreads, slowly. Okay. Sachin?
Yes, actually, I am really enjoying how every layer is being taken forward and forward. And I think I even told you about the dream. So, I mean, I'm just very, you know, I don't have words. I'm just, still contemplating on things. And probably I need to revisit a few more aspects and understand even further from this discussion on like how you said, as we keep growing our light, even God's grace, allows us to take it much more deeper and allows us to soar much more higher. So I think I need to ponder on that as well. So that's where I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and why it is important for me to bring God into the picture again and again, because what I have to share outside the normal ASB classes is basically of that type, spiritual type. Where if I don't bring, God and mythology and symbology and astrology, it will be difficult to teach. So I'll introduce you to many different ways of, thinking. For example, I gave you one schema of how stages of enlightenment unfold. Right? Now, again in India, there are many traditions where we can see the development of consciousness in stages in terms of, for example, one path is the 10 wisdom goddesses, Das Mahavidya. Das Mahavidyas are like 10 wisdom goddesses who are like, what shall I say, guardians on our path. At each stage of our path, they are like guardians. They protect us, they guide us, and they have their own functions to play. They have the power to create miracles also. Okay. So, for example, now this dream that you saw today morning is, is the domain of the goddess Tara. She brings about beautiful synchronicities, and which confirms the devotee on the path. That the devotee, in this case Sachit, knows that he or she is being taken care of. Sachit is being taken care of by God. So no, his faith becomes even deeper. So it's a very beautiful path. In this path, if you go deeper, 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 you will start to enjoy it more and more because you can see the real benefits in your real life. Miracles will start to happen, grace will start to flow more and more, and the divine will ensure that you develop more and more on this path. Your PhD will be taken care of, your job will be taken care of, your children's health will be taken care of, your financial problems will be taken care of. Everything will be taken care of. And your job is only to just connect deeper and deeper to your own inner purity, divinity, sincerity, ethics, dharma, whatever. In a
In
way, you
fact,
will. Yeah.
sorry, I interrupted. In the way that you even brought up about the small idea, it is also a sign that my mom actually has some understanding about this and was given that knowledge. So even I need to discuss with her and understand more on it. So yeah, definitely I'm taking that up as well. And you won't believe, actually, I've been practicing more of surrendering to the higher power, probably, or rather to say about the grace, where things are taken care of, and I experience that a lot. And I started that with very small rudimentary things. It could be as simple and rudimentary as driving in the traffic, and and I would astonishingly find all signals green, or even time being taken care of, or other activities, like you said, everything, all aspects being taken care of. It all happens under grace. But it happens as more and more we keep surrendering, and that's what I think the path is.
Yeah, that is what. So I think this at this moment in time, God is very interested in participating more in human life because we need God's grace more and more because the way things are going topsy-turvy in the outside world. So we have to bring back that old culture, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In that, God was always present as Dharma and as Moksha. The Artha and Kama were the human needs. God was always present as His teachings through Dharma and attaining Him through Moksha. So that is why Indian society prospered for so many thousands of years with so much harmony. India never attacked any country. India has never attacked any country, isn't it true? India has always, lived peacefully because in our very basic DNA, this dharma and moksha are there. We know that ultimate truth is non-violence, not violence. And whatever violence is required is only required to fight our own inner ignorance and nowhere else. That is the only place where we need to be very, very calm and determined. But the fruits are beautiful. You understand life more and more deeply and very, very richly, and you get personal benefits in terms of a more peaceful and happy life and ability to contribute more to your work, whatever work you are doing. Okay. So I think we should stop here for today. It's a long class that we have taken. I think almost 2 hours 20 minutes. Time somehow flies in this sessions for me. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. We'll meet again next Sunday, hopefully. Bye.